Saturday Social is powered by EA Sports FIFA 23 with PlayStation.
One big story to another, mate, because this was a huge story this week. We can have a look at what happened with Ronaldo midweek. So this was during Man United's 2-0 victory against Spurs at Old Trafford. So Erik ten Hag confirmed that he refused to come on as a sub, but then he also walked down the tunnel. That was before the end of the game, and whilst Man United was still eligible to make substitutions. So a big story this that has continued to rumble on, and this is what Erik ten Hag had to say about that incident yesterday.
Erik, did he refuse to come onto the pitch on Wednesday night?
Yes, I'm here the manager. I'm responsible for the top sport culture here, and I have to set standards and values, and I have to control them. And we are in a team, and in team we have standards, we have values, and I have to control that.
Yeah, and speaking of controlling those standards, he's not selecting Ronaldo for the huge game against Chelsea tonight, live on Sky.
Which is massive. And obviously we heard what Erik ten Hag had to say there. Cristiano Ronaldo also took to Instagram as well to put out his very own statement on the matter. It's long,
How long
so pause your TV if you want to have a read of it. But he basically goes on to say that sometimes in the heat of the moment, it gets the better of us. I'm going to keep working hard. United must stand together. All of those sort of buzzwords you would expect from that statement. You can read it on his Instagram. And we thought this was the perfect opportunity, really, didn't we? To do a very special Cristiano Ronaldo specific true or false segment with Flex and Rory. So me and Smithy are going to read out a number of statements. You're going to have to hold up the paddle, true or false. You're then going to have 60 seconds to debate your points.
I like it. Now, all these statements are based on what we've seen on social media and people talking about. So the first one, a lot of people having their say on this on social media this week. True or false, Cristiano Ronaldo will play for Manchester United again. Which side is your paddle going? Disagreeing straight away. True, you've gone false. 60 seconds on the clock. Flex, why is it true?
He will, because Erik ten Hag, I think, is handling this in the correct way, dealing with it with the right consequences here and now, and we'll move on. There's not long before the World Cup, and then after that, it won't be long before the January transfer window. I think he wants this done and dusted as soon as possible and doesn't want to make an even bigger deal out of a bad situation. So I think he brings him on maybe in the Europa League, or it could be another Premier League game. Still won't be starting games, but I definitely play.
You think he'll feature? Rory, you're disagreeing. Why do you disagree with Flex?
He won't play for Manchester United again, firstly, because he's not good enough to play for them in this system. If you look at when he's played for them this year, he started, 2 games? 1 a 0-0 draw, 1 a 4-0 slapping. So he's not good enough to play for them. Secondly, there needs to be principle. Do you know what you said there? And we didn't pick up on it. As you read out what happened, you said he chose not to play for Manchester United. He chose not to come on. Ten Hag said he was offered the opportunity to come on and asked to come on, and he said no. Who on earth do you think you are? There needs to be principle. You don't not play for Manchester United if requested.
Agree with everything he just said, but in terms of moving forward, he still will. He will.
Sorry, your time is up.
We play for a lot.
Time is up.
You have more than 30 seconds.
Wow, okay. We've got to move on.
Let's move on to our second true or false, and this one is very simple. That Erik ten Hag has handled the Cristiano Ronaldo situation perfectly. True or false? 60 seconds are on the clock. Flex will come to you.
Absolutely spot on. He referenced what happened in a pre-season friendly when the players, including Ronaldo, left early, and he said that does not happen. We are a team. We stay till the end. It's now happened again, and the same player is involved. This time it's even worse, off the back of winning a game as well. And he's put down a marker. Manchester United need a new culture, a new way of doing things, and players need to understand it doesn't matter if you're a GOAT of the game, it doesn't matter what you've achieved in the game, you're part of this team until the end, win, lose or draw.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Erik ten Hag has got a lot right. I think he's doing a fantastic job at Manchester United, actually. And this is another example of it. So there's nothing that Erik ten Hag has got wrong here. With regard to where he goes from here, though, the thing that he has to keep doing is keep getting it right. And I think that what he has to do is have a word with Mendes and whatever it takes, get Cristiano Ronaldo as far away from Old Trafford as is physically possible in January, if not sooner. I think what he did the other day is actually worthy of a sacking. It's a disgrace. Leaving your teammates and saying no to your manager when asked to go on. It is absolutely unbelievable.
Wow, OK, those are the thoughts of Rory there. Strong opinions. Next up, this is our next true or false. And don't forget, these are all statements that we're based on what people have said on social media. Joe hasn't written this because obviously you wouldn't have wanted this to happen, I'm sure. True or false, Cristiano Ronaldo should have joined Manchester City. What do you think? True or false, guys?
Yeah, he was thinking about it.
OK, Rory, straight away, coming to you, 60 seconds. Why true?
Firstly, I like the romanticism in football. And what Cristiano Ronaldo is currently doing is tarnishing his legacy. And had he gone to Manchester City, of course it would have affected the legacy, but he wouldn't have damaged the club that he professed to love. So I think he should have gone there for the holistic reasons, but I also think he should have gone there because he would have been more, he would have fitted in more. I think he would have won more trophies. I think he would have been happier. And ultimately, it wouldn't be having this damaging effect on Manchester United. Overall, everybody would be happier now.
Obviously, being a Manchester United fan, and I'm annoyed with Ronaldo in this moment, everything that's happened to him right now is rightly so. I think what he gave to us last season when we were a really bad team, really disorganised, he was the only person who was giving us anything, any form of output. And I think it might be somewhat tarnished now, but I think if he would have gone to City in that moment, straight off the bat, and won them the Premier League, let's say, that would have been a big tarnish almost instantly. So I'm not going to forget what he done for us last season.
And maybe Erling Haaland wouldn't have signed for Man City and I wouldn't have had egg on my face. That could have been another good reason.
Butterfly effect.
That's the real reason. Self-preservation.
He's just thinking of the biggest meme in football.
The butterfly effect in full effect. All right, let's do the next one then, because this is a big statement, I have to say. True or false, Cristiano Ronaldo is Man United's greatest ever player?
Wow.
Not sure about this one. I'm hoping you both have the same answer here. OK, Flex, come on.
No, and I'm not being salty because of what's just happened. He just isn't. We've had many legends. I don't even think that the 25 seconds I've got less is enough to name some of the names. You look at people like Robson, you look at Cantona, you look at Keane, you look at Beckham, you look at Giggs, you look at Rooney. There are a lot of players, even Georgie Best, Dennis Law, Charlton, Duncan Edwards. There are many that go before Ronaldo. He is a Manchester United legend. That is still intact, but definitely not our greatest ever player.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's anything close to it, to be totally honest. I think Flex has nailed his colours to the mast perfectly, and I agree with it. I would also say that his conduct has affected that. So even if he were in the conversation for it, I don't think he can be now, because the way that fans will look at you, the way that you are viewed through the prism of legend status, you've just said that you won't go on in a game. That is so bad. It's so bad. It's so unprofessional. It's so unacceptable. And he's therefore damaged his legacy. I wouldn't have even have him as the best right winger. I'd have Beckham over him.
Wow.
Love it.
Rory, very strong with this.
Strong opinion.
Next up, we've got to move to the next one, because a lot of statements we're going to bring the next up just says, true or false, Manchester United have a better chance of finishing in the top four without Ronaldo in the starting 11. A lot of people debating this, particularly at the start of the season, weren't they? True or false? What are you saying?
Absolutely true. What are you saying?
All false. OK.
You just said he's not even good enough to play for us.
Let's go Flex first, because I want to hear Roy. Flex, we'll go you first. Come on.
I think the manager, don't even ask us, ask Eric Ten Hag. He's proved already that even if there's a fit Ronaldo there, he's going with Martial, he's going with Rashford, he's even going with Christian Eriksen over him. And that's not to disrespect him, that's just the way that he wants to play. I think we're more fluid. Without Cristiano Ronaldo in there. Now, listen, can Cristiano Ronaldo still contribute? Look, he came off the bench against Everton and got us 3 points. So there is a role for Cristiano Ronaldo, but it's a squad role. And that question there is with him in the starting 11.
Rory, based on what you said in your previous answers, I think Flex was surprised you went false.
The reason I'm taking it back is because I think Cristiano Ronaldo behaved terribly over the summer. Had he committed to the tour of Australia and Thailand and been part of the Ten Hag system, I think if you could go back to that, Cristiano Ronaldo would have contributed to Manchester United securing top four. Now, probably not. But if you could take it back and Cristiano Ronaldo, what was it, 18 goals in 30 games last season?
Yeah.
If Eric Ten Hag could have benefited from that Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously they'd have more chance.
24 goals in all competitions last season.
Yeah.
United.
I mean, the next one is perfectly teed up by that statement, really, and it's Cristiano Ronaldo's form last season deserved more game time this season.
Ooh.
Both false.
Yeah. New dawn, new manager. Not the same as last year. You can commend him for what he did last year and absolutely give him ratings for being able to produce those numbers, considering the team was not functional at all. But as soon as a new manager walks into the football club and wants to change things and wants to do things in a different way, and you're going into your last year of your contract, we can't build a team around Cristiano Ronaldo. So in my opinion, everything that had happened previously, as the manager said when he came in, that's in the past. This is a new way of doing things. I don't think just because you're our top scorer last season, you're guaranteed to start this year.
I think this one's complex. If off the back of last season, I would have said he deserves it. And I kind of disagree with what Flex was saying there. But the reason he doesn't deserve it is because of the way that he behaved during the summer. Flirting with Atletico Madrid, flirting with Manchester City, desperate to leave Manchester United, assuming that the offers would come flooding in, Bayern Munich and whatever else. And it didn't. But his form, if you can subtract all of that, if you subtract his behaviour and just look at the player that he was for Manchester United last year, securing 10 points in the Champions League on himself alone, of course he deserves more game time, but it's the conduct.
OK, our final one. Now, this is a word that you've both used regularly and a word that we've seen all over social media this week. A lot of people asking about his legacy and how that has been affected. So, very simply, we're asking you, true or false, Cristiano Ronaldo has tarnished his legacy at Manchester United. How are you going? Rory is going true.
I want to hold it like that. I want to hold it like that.
Get off that.
I'm going to say false.
Right, you both disagree. You're saying false, Flex. Why?
Yeah, I'm not going to live just for the short term of what we're feeling now as a Manchester United fan. What he's won at Manchester United previously and what he's done for the football club is all there. It's all in the museum. The trophies, the accolades, the Ballon d'Or that he won before he was even, in his prime. He won his first Ballon d'Or at Manchester United. So I'm going to say no. Obviously, it does hurt with what's going on at the minute now. But again, coming back last season, that feeling was amazing. He had a great season on a personal note. So I'm not going to take that away from him because of what he's doing now, which is not good enough.
Can you hear his voice crack as he speaks, as he knows that he's trying to talk
45-degree angle.
Truth. He knows that is completely false. There is no way that it doesn't affect his legacy. Desperately trying to sign for Manchester City. Absolutely unacceptable. The man has no principle. He was ready to play for Atletico Madrid. He was ready to play for Manchester City. He is a mercenary and therefore his legacy is in tatters.
That's dramatic.
4 seconds.
It's in tatters. Mate, Mourinho,
It's not in tatters.
Mourinho is Chelsea's greatest
tatters.
ever manager. I adore Mourinho. I love him with all my heart. He is a father that I never had. But when he signed for Tottenham, when he managed Tottenham, of course it affects
Chelsea's
things and
best ever
changes
manager
things.
still.
He's Chelsea's best ever manager.
And that will never change.
I'm talking about legacy, though.
And his legacy is still up there with Chelsea fans because of what he brought to the football club. Ollie done horrifically in the end. He's still a Manchester United legend. He hasn't tarnished it.
No, legacy isn't only about ability, though. And also, you say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he did it in a different way. He didn't do it as a player. He did it as a manager. So he can't affect his legacy in the same way. What Jose Mourinho did affect his legacy with me. I still love him. I still adore him. I still acknowledge him as being Chelsea's greatest ever manager. But you don't go to Tottenham if you're Chelsea.
OK, those are the thoughts of Rory.
That was some punchy statements by Rory.
Strong statements, and those are the thoughts of Flex as well.